Godspeed. There's this bar. It's up the street from my house. It's got carpet on the floors, so it always reeks of stinky feet and stale beer. I go there Tuesdays and Thursdays, my drinking days. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I let myself go, imbibing what I want all fucking night long if I want. I enjoy everything about those days, like Sabbaths, like national holidays. I stroll and saunter in slippers from my house through the changing Oakland neighborhood, nodding to Mr. Delbert, who's always on his porch with his Rottweiler, Mr. Dog, that has scared the shit out of my daughter since she was born. He says to me every time I pass, "Gonna be a good evening?" And I say every time in response, "It already is." And he says, "You say that every time." And I say, "You have to start somewhere." He nods and then he says, "Take it easy. I'll probably see you later." And I nod back. I say, "Hello, Mr. Dog." The dog just runs along the fence growling. Tonight in the bar, it's just me and Bob, the bartender, who claims to be a poet. I've never asked to see his writing. He's never offered a stalemate. He says, "Mr. Garcia." And I say, "Bob, the bartender." We nod, and he busies himself doing whatever bartenders do when there's absolutely no one in the bar and they want to avoid chit-chatting. He slides the remote down the bar, and then a sparkling water. Soon he will come over with my tumbler of Bullet, decent and much cheaper than the stuff they charge $10 for. My daughter, earlier in the afternoon, as her mom and stepfather came to pick her up, reminded me not to spend too much, that I needed to put away the amount I promised her I would for her college tuition. I reminded her to put the dishes in the dishwasher. She said, "Dad, that's a straw man argument." I corrected her, "I think it's a red herring." Either way, she said, "Fallacious." I nodded, she nodded and hugged me and said, "Godspeed." She's 17 and applying to colleges and studying for the SAT, so she's using words that never sound right in a sentence spoken by anyone whose first language is English. She pulled away and marched to the car, arrogant, confident like a cop. From the back seat, I saw her wave to me. I did nothing back but watch them drive away down the street, red taillights blinking like Christmas, like condescending winks as they rolled over speed bump after speed bump. Bob the bartender finally makes it over to me and he asks, "The same?" I say yes. He grabs a glass and grabs the bottle of Bullet. The ice cubes seem to sparkle. The bourbon looks warm and inviting, perfect for this October evening in Oakland. My life suddenly feels prefabricated, nauseating, like an advertising invention. I sip the drink anyways, and the burn wakes me up. I ask Bob the bartender, "Did you take the SAT?" "Yes," he says, "and the GRE." "Really?" "Yes," he says, "and I did well on both." His girlfriend walks in, blonde, slim, and she unwraps her scarf, exposing skin white and delicate. I fight the urge to think of her paternally. "Hi," she says, pats my back and sits in the empty stool next to me. "This place stinks," she says. I say, "I agree." Bob the bartender says, "I agree too." There's a silence, like we all just said something profound. Then I say, "Bob, did the test help you in any part of your real life?" "I probably could solve a basic math question," he says. He places a gin and tonic in front of his girlfriend with the delicate neck, long and smooth. She says, "I love taking tests." She says it like somebody looking for a hug. We both turn to her. "Rachel," Bob the bartender says, "no one is really talking to you." I look up at the TV screen showing some basketball game. I hear her snap something back to him. They bark on and I watch the ball being dribbled. I hear their voices. I reach into my pants and finger the two $20 bills in my pocket. I sip the bourbon, still warm, still welcoming. Godspeed, I think to myself. "Bob and Rachel," I say loudly so they have to take notice, "how many words do you think there are for goodbye?" Bob the bartender says, "I have no idea." Rachel says, "So long. Farewell." Toodaloo. Adios. In English, I say. She says, don't you think adios is anglicized by now? Just like arrivederci, bon voyage, ciao, see? I am really good at tests. Sayonara, Bob the bartender says and bows. Don't be a racist asshole, Rachel says, and spins in her chair to view the people who just entered the bar. Soon the place starts to fill up, mostly with a few of the neighborhood old folks who have come to this bar for a while. Not drunks, really. Just lonely men and a few women who come dressed up like the carpet in the bar was red. And the bar gets a younger crowd too. Partly because Wednesdays and on weekends the owner hosts events, karaoke, DJs, a poetry open mic, which I would never go to. But tonight, it's mostly just us. Jason, an aging punker who lives on my street, and Freddie, who always seems to be wearing the same clothes. There's also Susan, who's the upstairs tenant and acts like she has some kind of power in the place. Like if we piss her off, she can get us kicked out. Bob the bartender gets busy. Rachel, Lynette, gets drunky and sloppy. I drink through my first 20. Mr. Delbert shows up. Jason comes over to talk sports. I break the next 20. I think of the money I am saving to help my daughter leave. Money comes, money goes. We have to learn to say goodbye to so many things. Hasta la vista, au revoir. I repeat all the words that I know to say goodbye in my head. I imagine myself waving back to her. Farewell, so long, goodbye. Thank you.